But getting back to talking about Russ, right? I was split on this at first, to be honest with you. Because on one hand, I get it. On one hand, it's definitely frustrating. Is on his part, I'm saying I could see the frustration. There was talk of, I couldn't find the exact ones, but I was reading articles and listening to other podcasts. There was talks of like death threats to his family, to his wife, to his kids because of his performance. And let me just start off the jump. If you throwing death threats to either a player or a player's family because they're not playing a playground game well, I mean, yeah, they make millions doing it and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it's a playground game of basketball that any of us can go lace up and go play right now. We all playing basketball. So if you throwing death threats to somebody you don't even know for real in real life over a childhood game, there's something wrong with you. You know what I mean? But once I got past that point, honestly, I was disappointed at Westbrook for saying this. I really was, and the reason is, he's talking about, everybody disrespecting his name. This ain't fair. This ain't right. But that's just what NBA fans do. That's 21st century internet culture. That's Twitter culture. That's troll culture. I wouldn't even necessarily call it troll culture. That's just NBA culture. We call LeBron. Even just now, I called LeBron the GM. They call him LeBum. They call him LeBrick. They call Anthony Davis a Disney because of the bubble championship that we was just talking about with Jason. Like players get called stuff, nicknames all the, you know what I mean? Like DeMar DeFrozen, when DeMar was having some bad games back in his Toronto days, they were calling him DeMar DeFrozen. The more I see it, the less I like it. Like these nicknames that are insults essentially just come with the territory. I don't know what they were back in the day, but I guarantee you they were doing them back in the day too. In the 80s and the 90s, early 2000s, the internet wasn't popping like that, but I'm sure there were people chanting stuff in the stands. Like Baby Rage said, that's the game. That's the game, Russ. Russ, that's the game. And people calling you Westbrook and stuff like that, it's because you're missing shots, Russ. They're gonna call you Westbrook because you're missing shots, and it's not, you're missing shots badly. And Russ, I'm a Russ fan. I just told y'all how much I rock with KD. It's because I'm a Thunder fan. Sixers is my main team, but I got a soft spot for the Thunder. I mean, mainly only because I was born in Oklahoma. But that connection, I watched those guys play. I watched those guys play when they were young, and then they grew up. They go to the championship in 2012, and they don't win. And Russ has his triple-double years. Like, I'm a Russ guy. Russ is my guy. I love the way he plays. It sucks that he's just not fitting with the Lakers, and he can't hit a shot, and he's not even finishing well at the rim. I'll be honest, he don't look good. He don't. Now, his field goal percentage is technically, when you really get into the nitty-gritty of it, is only slightly lower than his previous seasons, but that's also because he's not an efficient player. He never has been. He's not an efficient player. Russ has never really been an efficient player. So, but that's also why I didn't think the Lakers fit was going to work in the first place, right? And so then Russ continued talking about, the slander of his name is not fair, this, that, and the third. But Russ, me being a Thunder fan, I remember, Russ. And now, Russ, you just look like a hypocrite. Because when Kevin Durant left, right? When Kevin Durant left, what did Russ put up that same year, that 4th of July? These cupcakes, saying have a cupcake on 4th of July. And then that turned into this. Kevin Durant comes to Oklahoma when the Warriors play the Thunder, that first home game, and everybody's calling him Cupcake. This whole Kevin Durant's a cupcake thing gets started in OKC, and all the fans are embracing it, and they were calling KD a cupcake. They were. Because, I mean, rightfully so, from what it looked like from the outside looking in the words of Damian Lillard, he was running from the grind. So, Russ, you can't be a part of literally creating this cupcake meme, this cupcake narrative for Kevin Durant. What was that, 5, 6, 7 years ago? And then now, like, hey, man, yada, yada, yada. And I get it. People grow. I don't think he had kids then at this point. So now he's talking about his son and how much he loves his last name. And I get that to an extent. I do get that. It sucks because if his kids really are, feel like they're getting bullied or whatever, yada, yada, that sucks, right? for people to maybe attack your children and stuff, right? But also it halfway kind of sort of feels like you're hiding behind your kids. You know, I don't know if that makes full sense, but it almost feels like he's hiding behind his kids, and that's not really what we're here for either, man. If you play better, you don't have these problems. Like, you don't. Rage says you're not getting called. You're getting called. You're not getting called West Splash if you brick it. That's facts, bro. Triple OG, imagine getting called a cupcake. Like he's just down terrible with the goofy fans. Using his kids, maybe. Yeah, Rage, I don't know if it's using his kids. I mean, he might legit have a concern for his children's, I don't know if I want to say mental well-being or want to shield them from bullying. Like, that's a solid point. And as someone who, I don't have any kids, I'm not a father, yada yada, I was listening to The Mismatch, the Ringers podcast called The Mismatch with Kevin O'Connor and Chris Vernon. Really good podcast. If you don't listen to that, I suggest that as well. Like I said, I consume a lot of NBA content. But I was listening to that yesterday, and they were talking about this for a little bit, and I was really curious to see what Chris Vernon had to say about it, because he has kids, you know what I mean? He has 2 sons, and he's in the public eye, not as much as Westbrook, but I mean, he's an NBA content creator. He talks about the NBA. He's works closely with the Memphis Grizzlies, hosts a couple of their shows. And if you know, there's been times where he said there's been times when his kids was like, Daddy, why are they saying this about you on Twitter? Or Dad, why are they saying this about you on the internet, whatever. And he basically was like, hey, you know, had to teach his son to be like, don't worry about that. You know, don't focus on that. I don't focus on that. I only care about you, your mom, my wife, our friends, our family. That's what really matters. Them people on the internet, we don't know them. They don't really matter. So, I mean, he could have went about it that way. I feel like there's other ways he could have did that. You know, it's other ways he could have went into handling that. And I get it. The reporter asked the question, you know, and he could have just started with he could have started it, ended it with the death threats part. Like I said, I haven't seen those. I wasn't able to find them. But if that was a thing, he could have started it, and ended it with the death threats. Be like, hey, that's not cool. That's not what we're here for. Like, you're talking about real people. This is our real lives. This is my real wife. These are my real kids. We're not doing that. And that I would have respected, right? But to then tie that into the taunting, the Westbrook stuff, the story about how much his kids love his last name. And I'm not even trying. These was probably all legit stories. The parent-teacher conference, the teacher probably said, your son is very proud to be a Westbrook. He's very proud of his father. But also, internet culture is a thing. So people are going to call you Westbrook. And you know what's even wilder about this? Because of how the internet works? Why you let them know what bothers you, Russ? Why'd you let them know what bothers you? Because I guarantee you now, it's going to be even crazier. Have a game where you have 8 turnovers. Have a game where you go 3 for 12. Do another one of those games. I guarantee you it's going to be crazier. Just play better, bro. That would have been my thought process solution. Play better. And just prove them wrong. Because that would have been the bigger response. I think that would have had the better impact instead of, and I don't want to say it like this, but instead of complaining and complaining, just play better, show up, hoop, ball out, and then nobody would have had nothing to say. No one would have had nothing to say. OG, basically, we were just talking about Russ. We were talking about Russ's comments about people calling him Westbrook, and I thought it was, I didn't think it was the right move to make. I'll say that. I didn't think it was the right move to make. Because you also want to know why it's not the right move to make. I just said how grateful I am for the following that I do have, the channel that I do have. Even in my videos, right? That don't even be going viral or nothing like that. In my videos, people will be like, this fat boy don't know nothing about basketball. He don't know nothing about basketball. Look at him. He know how to shoot. He don't know how to dribble a ball. He don't know what he's doing. He don't know what he's talking about. Do I care? No. You know why? Because I know that's the internet. And I know when you put yourself out there in the public eye, you're going to get some people like that. Rage. I'm gonna end it on what Rage just said, and I'm going to my next topic because I'm done. I'm done with this one. Y'all catching me on the. I got a lot of energy today. Clearly, between the starting about LeBron and then I had Russ at the top of the show, the energy's high today, man. I'm gonna read what Rage said. I'm gonna move on. Rage says Westbrook could have executed it better. I agree, 1,000%. Could have just executed it better. All right, next thing on the docket. Ooh, I definitely hit that mic. Sorry if that was loud, y'all. The next thing on the docket, it's in the title. Warriors aren't making the finals, right?